And welcome back, and we're crooked. Give me 1 second to fix that. Better. And welcome back, everyone, to... that should be a little bit better. Wow, I'm blurry for some reason. I'll fix that later. Anyway, welcome back to some Theros Beyond Death spoilers, or previews, if you will. And, look, some came out yesterday, but they were, frankly, there wasn't a lot that came out yesterday, and there was a lot of repeated stuff that got already leaked out, so I just figured I'd combine today's and yesterday's into one video. But let's get on with it. Meyer Triton aids 1 black, 1 of any color for a 2/1 zombie merfolk. Death Touch, and when this card enters the battlefield, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard, and you can gain 2 life. Now... this is, you know what, this is actually starting to really bother me. Why is this so, okay, there you go, that's a little bit better. Again, I'll have to look into wiping that off as, when it's all said and done. I'm a little less blurry now, not that you can generally make me out, so that's fine. But yeah, Meyer Triton, I mean, your goal is to get cards in your graveyard to use Escape, or a flashback, or anything like that. So I suppose it's fine. It's a 2/1 with Death Touch, and a minor downside / upside, depending on what type of deck you're playing. So, yeah, it's not bad. It gives you life. So, yeah, it's not a bad card at all. It's a good little 2-drop. I'm cool with it. Birth of Meletis. Meletis, I think it is. Saga, 1 white, 2 of any color for, a saga. Basically, when you draw a card, or beginning of end step, or excuse me, at the end of your draw step, you put a lower counter on it, or when this card enters the battlefield. So, you search your library for a basic Plains card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Okay, that's reasonable. You create a 0/4 colorless wall artifact creature token with Defender, and then you gain 2 life. It's an uncommon, so I'm not expecting anything amazing from this, obviously. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's getting you some extra planes, getting you some extra land, which is never a bad thing. It's giving you a body. Granted, a body that can't do anything, but it's a body nonetheless, so that's not terrible. There's some sacrifice cards in this set, like Woe Strider, which could definitely benefit from that. And then gaining 2 life. It's not bad. It's the problem with this one is it's really not a proactive card, and that was the term I was looking for last video. It's not a proactive card. It's very much, okay, this happens, it doesn't really impact the board state that much. This happens, okay, you get a creature that doesn't do anything. Okay, you gain 2 life. That's it. But as far as cards go, I could think of worse things, definitely. Ashy X Eraser, 2 blue, 2 of any color for a rare. Enchantment. Flash. Enters the battlefield, exile target spell. Your opponent can't cast spells with the same name as the exile card. When this card leaves the battlefield, return the exile card to its owner's hand. So essentially, it's kind of a detention sphere, journey to nowhere kind of card. The fact that it has flash is not bad at all, though. I'll give it that. It's decent. It's not bad. You're going to treat it like an instant. You're not going to treat it like an enchantment, like you do most flash cards. So yeah, it's not bad. Stessian Pensioner. 2 green, 1 of any color for a human druid, uncommon, 2/2. All right, it's usable immediately at 2/2. Enters the battlefield, gain life equal to devotion to green. Now there was a centaur that I actually have, and it's in my centaur deck, that has this exact effect, but at a more expensive cost and a bit of a heftier body. At minimum, this is a 2/2 for 3 that gains you 2 life. In the right deck, obviously, it's actually going to give you quite a bit of life. Now, the Great Merchant is clearly better. It's more expensive, but it's also a complete swing. Life loss and then life gain, so play that over this, generally speaking, but this is a perfectly adequate card, definitely. It'll definitely help you in a bad board state. Absolutely. You wouldn't need more than 1 or 2 creatures or cards on the field with green mana cost in them. If you have 5 green mana cost for 3 mana, gain 5 life, and a 2/2 body, that's a good swing. So it's a decent card in my opinion. Glimpse of Freedom. 1 blue, 1 of any color for an uncommon instant. Draw a card. You can also escape for 1 blue, 2 of any color. Exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. I mean, 2 mana to draw a card, I guess, is fine. But the problem here is that is that really... First off, is just paying 2 mana for an effect to just draw 1 card worth it? I think that's a big question. because drawing cards has always been depicted as something that's really good and something you want to be doing, but it's one of those things where if you're just drawing one card for 2 mana and that's all you're doing, even if it's at instant speed, all that card's doing is taking up room. So I'll be honest, even though I'm a blue, then blue's my favorite color, then green immediately after it. Even though I'm a blue player, as a blue player, I actually don't like this card. I don't think it's worth it. Sweet Oblivion, love that name. Sweet Oblivion. I shall send you to Sweet Oblivion. 1 blue, 1 of any color. For a sorcery uncommon, target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into the graveyard. You can escape for 3 of any color, 1 blue, exile 4 other cards from your graveyard to play this card again. Quite frankly, this is a far better card than that. Because first off, I'm a big fan of mill. Now, in this set, this is going to be one of those weird things where, first off, there's a lot of self-mill going on, but also you're milling your opponent isn't necessarily the best strategy in this game. This is one of those scenarios where I'm not sure if as much as I like milling people, I don't think I'm going to enjoy milling mill cards as much in this set. Now that's why they say target player, though, not target opponent. But that being said, if you do take some escape cards out of the equation, this thing is just a repeatable memory sleuth, repeatable. The merfolk from the Throne of Eldraine that has the sorcery that does the 4. Just repeating that effect. Granted, you need 4 cards in your grave to do so and a little bit extra mana, but I can see 2 or 3 uses of this easy, and that's 12 cards off an opponent's deck in a regular game that doesn't involve a lot of graveyard shenanigans. So, not bad, at least. Not bad. I do like the art, though. The art, though, is just kind of messed up. Dalakos. Yeah, Dalakos. Crafter of Wonders. 1 blue, 1 red, 1 of any color for a 2/4 Merfolk Artificer Legendary Creature Rare. You can tap and add 2 colorless artifact, 2 colorless mana. Spend this mana to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. Equip creature you control have flying and haste. Look, clearly this guy is designed specifically for an artifact deck. So the question is, how does he function inside that artifact deck? Although I'll give you this. At a 2/4 for 3, even though he's 2 different colors, that's not a bad body for 3 mana. So even if you somehow were not in artifacts at all, it's still not a bad card. But regardless, it's still pretty decent. In the deck you're in, because you're going to be needing artifact spells a lot for this kind of deck, it's a good spell. And then equipping creatures automatically gives them flying and haste. So get an Embercleave on any one of these guys and go to town, because then you're just getting flying and haste along with double strike and trample, and I think haste as well. So haste is kind of minute, but no, flying double strike trample on whatever you're giving it. Let's just assume it's this 1/2 right here. That means he's a 2/3 swinging in with a double strike. Plus, when he enters the battlefield, create a number of segueing. A number of 1/1 white human soldier creatures equal to your devotion to white. This is a 1/2 for 5, which means at its worst, it's giving you a 2/3 between 2 bodies. See, again, right circumstances, white being heavy, you're going into. If you can get at least 3 white mana symbols on the battlefield, not including him, so 4, then I could say this card's probably worth the price, but you really have to be in a good board state for this guy to work. Otherwise, getting just the 1, maybe 2 other soldiers, and when your opponent maybe has, say, what we're getting to right here, the Nessian Boar, that's not going to mean jack. So, yeah, not a good effect, but it's definitely a late game card. And definitely a board setup card. Otherwise, you're in for some hurt. Chain Web. Oh, God. They keep making up words. Arachneer. There we go. Arachneer. 1 green for a 1/2 spider. Blight Widow stats, I believe. No, Blight Widow's 2 green. But close enough. Uncommon makes sense at 1/2 for 1 and with no downside. When it enters the battlefield with reach, when it enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature with flying and opponent controls. It also has escape 5. You may, pay 2 green mana, 3 of any color, exile 4 other cards. Not a heavy escape cost, by the way. When it escapes with 3+1 counters on it, meaning it escapes as a 4/5, not as a 2/1, and that's not as a 1/2. And that's something I'm noticing with a lot of the escape creatures is that one of the main things they seem to do when they come back is get bigger and stronger. Like they're free, they're able to stretch out their full power now. Whereas while they're chained in the underworld, contained, they're not as strong. So it's interesting with that little effect. As for the card itself, look, you're getting a 1/2 reach for 1 mana that already pings a small chump flyer that's already in the air. Then if it comes back, it's going to ping a 4 toughness flyer in the air, or ping a dragon or whatever that's a little stronger than that, and they can just bolt it or whatever. It's a pretty good card. Not like the bomb slap it down card, but a good card. Nessian Boar, 2 green, 3 of any color for a 10/6 rare boar. Yeah, I heard someone mention this in the comments that, yeah, boars are just as monstrous individuals as any other, like Hydras, Gorgons, and all that in Greek mythology. 10/6. All creatures able to block this card do so. Whenever this card becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller draws a card. That's fair. Thing is, this is, in theory, think about this for a second. All you gotta do is make it indestructible, put an enchantment on, whatever. You gotta get that toughness up a little bit. Get it to at least an 8. And let's assume that it's just a big, let's take Revenant Hoplite, for example. If he's somehow made maybe an army of soldiers, let's say 5 soldiers plus him, then basically what's going to happen is this guy's going to swing in, deal this much damage, and your opponent has to draw that many cards. Now, that you may think that's a downside at first, but if they have to en masse draw 10 cards from, and we're just talking about pre-release right now, if they have to en masse draw 10 cards from their deck, that means they're drawing a quarter of their deck. And if this is late game, because right off the bat you draw 7 cards, so you're already down to 33 cards. Then you got to wait probably, let's for conservative sake say you get this out in turn 5 and swing on turn 6. That means your opponent has already drawn 5 to 6 cards from that. Assuming they're not drawing other cards as well, that means they're already drawn about 12 to 13 cards. So that means they're already down to about 27 cards, give or take, 27, 28. So then they take another 10 off there. That's basically half their deck, over half their deck is gone now. If this thing is able to live more than 1 or 2 turns, your opponent is done. So this actually, despite the fact that it's going to give your opponent cards, this is something that if you see it on their opponent's side of the field, you need to answer it quick. It doesn't. Luckily, they were smart enough not to give it trample. Otherwise, this thing would have been busted. Honestly, I completely believe that. I think it would have been busted. But anyway, Pharika Spawn, 1 black, 3 of any color for a Gorgon, 3/4. Uncommon. It has escape 6, 5 of any color, 1 black. Exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. Again, the mana investment's heavier, but the actual exiling investment, that's cheap. And when it enters the battlefield, when it escapes with 2+1 counters on it. When it enters the battlefield this way, each opponent sacrifices a non-Gorgon creature. This thing's going to get scary quick because at about 6 mana, a 5/6 is what it's entering as, is relatively affordable. And the fact that it's pretty much forcing you to get rid of some of your best stuff if you're not careful, and that's a repeated effect, makes this thing a very dangerous card late in the game. Because that's when all the stuff in the graveyard is going to be piling up. You can get at least 2 activations of this, I guarantee you. So if you're not careful, this thing will wipe your board. This thing will take out your best thing if you are not careful. Especially if you have non-Gorgons on the field and that's the only thing you have. So you need to be very picky and choosy. And then you're still dealing with a 5/6, which is not the easiest thing to deal with. Granted, you have gods and stuff, but if the gods, quite frankly, they force you to sacrifice your cards that make them gods, then you have a problem. So it's a pretty good card. Rebirth of Glories, 1 black, 1 white, 3 of any color for a sorcery. I don't know if we know if it's a rare or not. I think it's rare, I think. Choose one or both. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and return target aura from your graveyard to the battlefield. I'm going to say that's rare. Look, it's rebirth, recursion, either resurrection, whatever you want to call it. Not only do you get your best creature back, or whatever's in your graveyard, you can also get whatever auras in the grave, too. Now, we haven't seen that many auras yet, but I'm certain we have more coming in the set. Still, great card, solid card. If you're in white-black, you're definitely going to want to use it. Arasta, the Endless. one second. The Endless Nest. That was it. Legendary enchantment creature Spider, 2 green, 2 of any color for a 3/5. Already, those stats are well in reach. Already, that thing is well and truly usable at 3/5 for 4. Yeah, you play that. But whenever an opponent casts an instance or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 green spider creature token to reach. Now, everyone see if they'll compare this to Dragon Lair Spider. Much more expensive than Dragon Lair Spider. I'm harder to cast because it's 2 colors. But that was with every spell that was cast, you get to create an insect creature token. This thing is whenever an instant or sorcery is cast and only by an opponent. So it's not as good in that sense, but at the same time, it's a lot cheaper to play. Its stats really aren't that much nerfed when you break it down. I believe Dragon Lair Spider is a 5/6 for 2 more mana. So really, they just chop the power down, which is understandable because you're getting bodies. And they chop by 2, and then they drop the toughness down by 1, which is not that big a sacrifice. And then, what I really liked about this card is the fact that, yes, while you playing cards isn't going to do anything, your opponent now actually has to be a little more careful what they're playing. Because, what was it, Wrath of the Gods, I believe, was the one that wipes the board for 4. That doesn't kill this thing. And that will give you now a 1/2. So not only do they have to choose what they're playing carefully, they have to figure out how to get rid of this thing fast, especially if it's against like blue and white and black players or blue and red players, most spell heavy players usually. Then it's going to definitely be a thing they're going to have to get rid of. This is basically kind of like the Nessian Boar, where they need to get rid of it, and they need to get rid of it fast. Blood Aspirant, 1 red, 1 of any color for a 1/1 Satyr Berserker. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, +1 counter on Blood Aspirant. You can pay 1 red, 1 of any color, tap this card, sacrifice a creature or enchantment, and then Blood Aspirant deals 1 damage to target creature. That creature can't block this turn. I'll be flat out honest. I love this card. This is a card that could be placed very easily, nice and happily in my Devour deck. Whenever I sacrifice a permanent, Devour. That's what Devour does. I can keep sacrifice permanents with this guy as well. He'll just keep getting bigger and bigger. You'll be able to ping target creature, no problem. The only little catch there, and I can understand why, because at that point you would have been haxed. It would have been probably a mythic rare at that point. I know it's a rare, but it probably would have been a mythic rare at that point. Is if it didn't have the tap ability. If it didn't have the tap ability, this card would have been busted, because then it's just ping, oh ping, oh ping, oh ping. All right then. But even so, you can still just ping a god, even if it's not going to kill the god. That god, if it's a creature, can't block that turn. So this guy can actually circumvent the gods. That's a biggie. That's a big one. So I like this guy. I do. Tectonic Giant. Oh, I like this card a lot. 2 red, 2 of any color for a 3/4 Elemental Giant rare. Whenever this creature attacks or becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, which means you're always probably going to be able to get this effect off once. It deals 3 damage to each opponent, or you exile the top 2 cards of your library, choose one of them. Until the end of your turn, you may play this card. Look, you're getting a card right at the top. You're either getting a free card or you're basically pinging someone for 3. Most of the time, I think you're going to be pinging someone for 3. I think that's going to be the Storm's Wrath. That was the name of the white card. I think that's what you're going to be doing with the card, is mostly pinging. Unless you feel like you're down, unless you have no hand, in which case then I can understand why you would do that. Nix Herald is 1 green, 2 of any color for 2/3. Enchantment creature, Centaur, Shaman, at the beginning of your upkeep or combat on your turn, enchanted creature or enchantment creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains trample to the end of turn. So essentially what this card is actually a 3/4 unless you have another enchanted or enchantment creature. So a 3/4 for 3 with trample is a usable card. That's basically it. And the fact you got multiples of these is actually really important. Because you're going to have multiples of these on the field. They can all pump 1 up, or any one creature. Hell, pump up the freaking gods. Oh, God. I just realized how bad that is. In a good way. How messed up that is. That you can pump up the gods with this thing. You're going in my god deck. I say that completely out loud. I was like, yeah, you'll be going in the god deck. So, yeah, this thing's actually pretty good. Pretty solid. Pelukronos. I'm probably mispronouncing the name, but Pelukronos. Unchained. So Bluegrass died. He's in the underworld. He's a zombie Hydra now. And quite frankly, I like him more than his original version, if I'm going to be flat out honest. Because he's a 1 green, 1 black, 2 of any color, 0/0, legendary creature, zombie Hydra, mythic rare. When it enters the battlefield, it enters the battlefield with 6+1 counters, meaning you already get a 6 drop for 4, which is pretty good. But if it escapes, basically, you cast for its escape cost. Otherwise, it gets 12+1 counters instead. Now, if damage would be dealt to this card while it has a +1 counter on it, prevent that damage, remove that many +1 counters from it. You can pay Golgari and 1 other mana. This creature fights the target creature. You can also escape for 6 Golgari and 4 other mana, and exile 6 other cards from your grave. Which, frankly, isn't that, again, not that bad of a cost for a creature that comes out as a 12/12 the next time it comes out. I wish it had Trample. I'll say that. I wish it had Trample, because this looks like a card that would have Trample on it. Seriously. But as it stands, this is this is a good card. This will be like a boom, it hits the field like, okay, I got to deal with that now. Now, fortunately for your opponent, it's not that hard to deal with. If you want to chump block it, you can. And it's not that hard to do, and then you weaken it. But at the same time, you put it in the grave, and then you realize, crap, that's right, it's in the grave now, and it can come back as a 12/12 and fight whatever it wants. So it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but I like it. I definitely like it. If nothing else, the art is beast on this thing. No pun intended. Wave Break Hippocap. 1 blue, 2 of any color for a 2/2 horsefish enchantment creature, rare. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, draw a card. Great for your counter decks, your ping decks, so yeah, burn decks, all that. So great for that. It's usable, definitely. I like these kind of cards. Naili's Intervention, 2 green X. Sorcery, rare. Choose 1. Search your library for up to X lands, reveal them, put them into your hand, and then shuffle your library. Or, this card deals twice X damage to each creature with flying. So, look, I like the options on it, and both effects are in theory good, especially in Commander, but first off, how often are you going to... Because I haven't seen much with flying in this set, so right off the bat, how much are you going to be dealing with flying? And then, yeah, you can get all those land, but now what? Like, do you only have... Now, here's the thing. I could see maybe later in the game using this just to get all the extra land you have out of your deck, so now you're not drawing land. I could understand that. But if that's what you're using the card for, then yeah, you get the land, but you got to wait to play each land. So, I don't know. Not the worst card I've seen, but not the best either. The majority of these are just the alternate arts for all these other cards, except for 2. Final Death, 1 black, 4 of any color, instant, common, exile target creature. It's instant, it's removal, it's expensive, but you'll use it. And then Drag to the Underworld, 2 black, 2 of any color, instant, uncommon, destroy target creature. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is your devotion to black. Each black mana in your mana cost of permanents you control counts towards X devotion. So basically what you're getting is a 2/2 instant destroy target creature, because if you're in black, I'm sure you'll be able to get the devotion. Honestly, this is really cheaply cost for a black destruction spell of that power. So yeah, it's good. It is definitely good. But that's my thoughts on the cards that got spoiled today. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll be back with my Death Battle prediction, because they did announce the Death Battle for the new year. And What If will be up before I'm done. Well, I'll record it and maybe I'll upload like when I get home. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.